Level 0. The white shirt. There is a room in a small city called Bauru, in the interior of Brazil. The year is 1950. The largest stadium ever built, 200,000 seats, is full of people who did not come to watch a match. They came to watch a coronation. They have already printed the newspapers, already written the headlines. You are about to lose. The final whistle goes. Uruguay are world champions. 200,000 people go silent. Not gradually, all at once, like a light switched off. In that small room in Bauru, a 10-year-old boy watches his father cry for the first time in his life. His father is a grown man. Men like him do not cry. The boy takes his father's hand and makes a promise nobody else hears. The question is open. It will not close for 8 years. Level 1. The yellow pencil. 3 years after the worst afternoon in your history, your football federation announces a competition. Design a new shirt. Open to anyone. Because the white one can never be worn again. The white one belongs to the silence. A 19-year-old boy named Alder Garcia Schlee sits down with colored pencils. He is nobody. He picks up yellow, then green, and draws something he assumes will be worn by people nobody has ever heard of. He wins. Later in his life, Schlee will say he never imagined the shirt would mean anything. He just wanted Brazil to stop looking like a team in mourning. The yellow shirt goes into the world, and the question follows it, can you build something beautiful out of pure shame? Level 2. The promise kept. Sweden is hosting the World Cup, the biggest football tournament on Earth, held every 4 years, where nations send their best, and the last one standing is called World Champion. You cross the Atlantic carrying a 17-year-old boy from a dirt floor house in Bauru, the same city, the same promise. His name is Pelé. Nobody outside Brazil believes you belong. In the final against Sweden, he controls the ball with his chest, lifts it over a defender's head, and volleys it into the net before it touches the ground. He is 17. No one has ever done that. When the whistle goes, he collapses. His goalkeeper Gilmar holds the boy's head against his shoulder. Go ahead and cry, kid. It's good for you. The boy who heard his father weep keeps his promise on a pitch in Stockholm. But this is not where the story ends. This is where it gets complicated. Level 3. The man the doctors buried. Chile. You arrive as champions. And in the second match, Pelé tears a muscle and is carried off. The weight falls. You give it to Garrincha. The doctors who examined him as a child wrote that his spine was deformed, his left knee bent inward, his right leg curved outward, that he would never be a professional athlete. He was 7 years old when they wrote that. In the semifinal, in a stadium that does not want you to win, Garrincha nutmegs the same defender 3 times in 4 minutes. The third time, he turns and winks at him. Late in the match, frustrated defenders kick him until he retaliates. The referee sends him off. The crowd that spent 90 minutes wanting him gone applauds him to the tunnel. You win the World Cup without Pelé. Beauty is not one man. It lives in you, but the world is about to spend years trying to prove otherwise. Level 4. The gray blanket. England, the country that invented football, hosts the World Cup for the first time. Nobody is thinking about you. In the match against Portugal, a defender named João Mourning runs at Pelé and takes him down. Not at the ball, at his knee. No card. Minutes later, he does it again. Pelé cannot walk, cannot be substituted. He spends the final minutes on the wing, limping, barely touching the ball. You lose 3-1. At the final whistle, the cameras find Pelé walking toward the tunnel. Someone has placed a gray blanket over his shoulders. He is not crying, not angry, just walking, one careful step at a time. He tells the press he will never play in a World Cup again. Is there a cost to refusing to play ugly? That question walks into the tunnel with him. Level 5. The goal that cannot be improved. Mexico, thin air, physical heat, and Pelé broke his promise. In the final against Italy, you lead 3-1. The match is already decided. Then, in the 86th minute, you score again, not because you need it, because you cannot stop. 9 players touch the ball, 7 passes. Carlos Alberto arrives at full speed and hits it so cleanly the Italian goalkeeper does not move. He just watches. Afterward, Italy's defender Tarcisio Bergnic, the man assigned to stop Pelé, sits in the dressing room and says, "I told myself before the game that he was made of skin and bones just like me." He pauses. "I was wrong. You answered the question, but you are about to forget the answer for a very long time." Level 6. The Empty Locker, West Germany. For the first time since 1950, the best Brazilian alive will not be there. Pelé looks at a national team, now controlled by a military government using the yellow shirt for propaganda, and says no. His locker at the training ground is cleaned out and given to someone else. The squad that travels to Germany decides to win differently. Less beauty, more structure, more like Europe. They finished 4th. In 1978, the same logic. Argentina hosts. Brazil loses nothing, but Argentina needs a large result in their final group game to eliminate you. They beat Peru 6-0. 2 tournaments, unbeaten, nothing. The streets go quiet in a different way, not grief, just absence. People watching something that does not quite feel like theirs. What does a country lose when it decides beauty is too dangerous? Level 7. The team that died was beautiful. Spain. You send a captain who holds a medical degree and runs his own club as a democracy, players voting on everything, including the manager's salary. His name is Socrates. He wears political messages on his headband. Beside him, Zico, Falcao, Eder, a midfield that moves like water. You need only a draw against Italy to reach the semifinals. Italy scored 3, you score 2. When the final whistle goes in Barcelona, the cameras find the streets of Rio and Sao Paulo. Nobody is breaking anything. Families sit in lit rooms with the television still on. Nobody speaking, as if someone died and the body has not yet been carried out. The most beautiful team you ever built. Gone. Can a machine always beat a dancer? Level 8. The Dead Man's Banner, United States. You arrive 4 months after the death of the most beloved Brazilian alive. His name was Ayrton Senna. He drove racing cars, and every Sunday the entire country stopped fathers lifting children to the television, streets going quiet, the same breath you hold for football. In May, his car left the track at 211 kilometers per hour. You are still in mourning when the tournament begins. You win. Not beautifully. The final against Italy ends 0-0 after 120 minutes. Penalties. The players sprint to the center circle, carrying a banner. Senna, we accelerate together. The 4th title is ours. World champions. Standing in California, holding a dead man's name, you give the title away before you finish celebrating. Level 9. The team sheet. France. You arrive with Ronaldo, 21 years old, the best player alive. Hours before the final against France, he suffers a convulsive seizure in his hotel room. The team sheet is submitted without his name, then withdrawn, then resubmitted with his name. Nobody explains why. Not that night, not ever, fully. In the 79th minute, a camera finds Ronaldo. The ball is 30 yards away. Play is happening. He stands completely still, both arms at his sides, watching the match move around him like a man watching traffic from behind glass. France won 3-0. The question is not why you lost. The question is whose decision it was to put him there. Just the silence where the answer should be. Level 10. The haircut. Japan and South Korea. Ronaldo is back. Before the tournament, he shaved his head into a shape so strange that everyone who saw it stopped. A half moon of hair, Nothing else. His daughter had been sick with fever for 3 days, unable to laugh. He cut his hair into something absurd. She laughed. He kept it. He wore it into the final. In the final against Germany, he scored twice. The second, unhurried, into the bottom corner comes in the 79th minute. He runs. He points at the sky. He is crying before he stops moving. 4 years earlier, he stood alone in silver boots in Paris. Now, the 5th title. The yellow shirt, finding its way back to itself. He just came back. That is all. Level 11. The sock. Germany. The most talented squad since 1982. Ronaldinho, Kaká, Ronaldo, Adriano. Everything the yellow shirt has ever promised assembled in one place. Quarterfinal. France. 57th minute. Your left back Roberto Carlos kneels near his own penalty area to adjust his sock. Ball in play. Cross coming. Thierry Henry runs directly behind him. Roberto Carlos does not look up. Henry volleys into the roof of the net. 1-2-0. That is how it ends. Back in Brazil, television stations do not replay the goal on loop. They replay the sock, the knee on the grass. The head is going down 3 days. No commentary, because the commentary would add nothing the image does not already say. A man. A sock. A Tuesday in Frankfurt. Level 12. The chosen ones cross. 2014 is coming. But first, 2010, 2011, 2012. The world needs to know who you have chosen to carry the yellow shirt next. His name is Neymar. He is 19 years old, from a town so poor his father sold fish from a cart to keep the family fed. He moves like no one you have sent before, not Pele's power, not Garrincha's wink, not Ronaldo's force. Something else. Faster than the decision to foul him, lighter than the ground beneath him. You place everything on his shoulders before he is old enough to understand the weight. By 2014, he was 22. And carrying a nation of 200 million people into a home World Cup, the first since 1950, the last time silence swallowed the largest stadium on earth. In the quarterfinal against Colombia, a knee drove into his spine from behind. He goes down and does not get up. The stretcher comes. He is lifted off the pitch with a fractured vertebra, 3 millimeters from his spinal cord. 3 millimeters. He watches the semi-final from a hospital screen, a brace around his back, unable to move. What happens next, he will never be able to unsee. Level 13. 7. Brazil hosts the World Cup for the first time since 1950. Semi-final. Your best player carried off with a fractured vertebra. Your captain was suspended. Germany, in Belo Horizonte. 11th minute Germany scores. 23rd, 24th, 26th, 29th. 5 goals. 18 minutes. Final score, 7-1. In the 79th minute, the Brazilian crowd begins to sing, "Not for you, Ole," for Germany, the chant of complete surrender, the sound a crowd makes when pain passes through grief and comes out somewhere without a name. The last time this happened on home soil, a 10-year-old boy in a small room in Bauru watched his father cry for the first time. That boy is a grandfather now, and it is happening again. Level 14. Still dancing. The United States, Canada, and Mexico host the biggest World Cup ever, built 48 nations, the largest stage this tournament has ever seen, and you are on it. You send Vinicius Jr., 25 years old. He plays club football in Spain, where crowds have made animal noises at him, where opponents fouled him and smiled. In one match, the cameras caught it, he scored, and while he celebrated, someone behind the goal made sounds you do not make at a human being. He danced anyway. A journalist asked him about it. He said, "I don't celebrate to provoke. I celebrate because I am happy, and I will keep celebrating." That is the answer. The one you have been carrying since a 19-year-old chose yellow over black, since a boy made a promise his father never forgot. since a goalkeeper cradled a crying 17-year-old on a pitch in Stockholm and told him it was good to feel this much? The answer was never the trophy. Every time the world told you beauty was weakness, you sent another dancer. Every time a machine beat you, you came back in yellow. Garincha winked at the man who could not stop him. A banner held in California with a dead man's name. A father and a son in a small room in a city the world has never heard of, in the year the silence began. You never stopped answering. And now, you are history.